Dunwall is changing fast. 6 months ago, Draper's Ward was where Dunwall's rich and well-born strolled and shopped and tried to be seen. The plague burned through it in days. Today it's a battleground where two street gangs fight over the spoils. The Hatters and Lizzie's gang, the Dead Eels. Lizzie Stride was the boss until Edgar Wakefield betrayed her and took her place. And the riverboat. It's the kind of thing that happens every day in Dunwall. I don't judge him. I've done worse myself. But I need that boat. Edgar Wakefield and I have business.
Alright, welcome back to Let's Play the Brigmore Witches. So, again, we have some favors to purchase for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and get both of those. And again, I really don't see the need to invest in any of these upgrades necessarily. The only ones I think are worthwhile is the bone charm capacity one. I do want to get that eventually. I actually got the one that increases it to 5, so I don't know if I'll even need anything else other than that. So let's go ahead and stock up on some things. We have the stun mines now, if I didn't say so before. And this is the first time, of course, we're getting choke dust in this file, but I've already demonstrated it, and I've demonstrated it in the Knife of Dunwall as well. So I want to make sure I have enough money to get both of these, because I messed up during one of my test runs and wasn't able to get that hidden rune there. But both of these are pretty useful, so
the textile mill used to run off a water wheel before the canal went dry. It started up again recently, and whatever the Hatters did to get it working has enraged the Dead Eels. They're fighting in the streets.
So I wonder how the, for those of you who are not following along, the Hatter gang and the Dead Eels gang are at war because for some reason the Hatters were able to get the power back onto the textile mill, and they used some strange means to do it. I wonder how. I guess we'll be finding out soon enough. So I talked a little bit about the corrupted charms in the previous videos, but right now there's not a whole lot I want to be able to do with those. There's not really many good ones I have right now, but we'll be getting some other ones later on. So while these are all fighting, I'm going to demonstrate the pull power to bring this item towards me and collect that. And then we're going to slowly try to blink away from these guys. We'll let them fight amongst each other. Now this fight is pure RNG. It's actually pretty interesting to watch because I've had this fight go either way. I don't really care which one wins or loses. Obviously we're playing on High Chaos, so I would just kill them all anyway. But I want to make peace with both of these gangs if I can before I ultimately play out my means to an end. So we'll see who wins here. It's 3-on-3, and both of them have radically different fighting styles, weapons, and secondary abilities, so this could go either way. Wow, this is embarrassing. Nobody's even landed a hit, or nobody landed a hit yet up until that point. Alright, so one dead eel down, or two dead eels down actually. Looks like the Hatters are going to win. That was pretty one-sided. Wow. That was just embarrassing on behalf of the Dead Eels there. What a shame. Oh well, moving on. And strangely enough, during this run, looks like these Hatters are already aggroed towards more Dead Eel enemies. So again, this is all random based on, you know, just whatever the enemies decide to do. And I love these types of infighting moments in games. I know I've mentioned this before, where you know, you take two warring factions and put them together. I'm going to blink away from these rats here. I may have to blink away from these guys as well. I'm going after the hidden rune there, and normally these two guys are down towards the waterfront talking in the dried up riverbed there, but obviously they got aggroed towards the fight as well, so luckily they're more concerned about fighting the Dead Eels than they are fighting me. So I can just sneak past them. See, right down here I'm looking at that safe is where they originally were, but I guess they came back for me. I'm just, like I said, going to ignore them and go after the rune. There's some more rats in here. I'm going to be avoiding those as well. There's some river crust pearls there. I'm going to pick those up for some money. And there's the note that came with the rune as well. So yeah, as I was saying, I love those little infighting moments where enemies fight amongst each other. And the games there's a lot of games that are just full of them, like in Jak 2 towards the end, where the Crimson Guards are fighting against the Metalheads in the streets, or through the entirety of all the Haven City sections in Jak 3, with the Freedom Force Guards fighting the Metalheads and the KG robots. Some of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about if you haven't played those games. Or, for instance, in the first Halo game, the parts where the Covenant and the Flood are fighting against each other, and you can just sit back and watch and see who wins. Or like in the original Doom, where enemies would just randomly infight. A lot of that era's FPS games had infighting. I think a lot of the early id Tech games and early build engine games did that. But it's hard to exactly say which ones did and which ones didn't. So I'm ignoring most of that conflict there, and I'm going to sneak into the Dead Eel territory over here and go after the boat.
He ought to that fancy boil you see his face bragging all his rich friends.
Alright, so we need to get onto the I can't remember the name of it. The ship. It's gonna come to me eventually. But we gotta go after Edgar Wakefield. Oh, the Undyne, that's it. It just says right there on the screen. Yeah, so we're gonna have to take him out.
Is on board the Undine. He's put all of the eels on alert since Lizzie's rumored to have escaped from Coldridge. He's expecting her. You will undoubtedly be a surprise to him.
I really like these little intervals with the other assassins where they just kind of stop to talk to us. And it really feels like, especially when you look at the locations that they meet up with you at, it's usually like high elevation, like little hiding places that are out of the way, where you know, they can meet up with you and talk to you and give you a little insight on your... What the heck is it? Who's that?
Mercy compared
Huh.
to what Lizzie has in mind.
Strange. Anyway, yeah, they can just kind of meet up with us and give us some insight. It really feels like we have the whole area surrounded by our assassins, and it makes you just feel that much more powerful. So I'm going to quickly sneak past these guys, kill this guy because he's in my way, and I won't be seen doing this. That was a nice assassination. I did purchase Shadow Kill, as I said before, so I will not be leaving any bodies behind if I can help it. That's going to be especially relevant later in the game. And I'm going to try to avoid any hagfish and just swim underneath the Undyne as so, and come up through the hatch here. And Edgar Wakefield will be shaking in his boots down here in the lower deck. So if we can get up here... I realize that the swimming controls in Dishonored are awful compared to the ones in Wolfenstein: The New Order, to make a comparison. Alright, he should be right around the corner here. Just wait for him to walk by. He's already hiding from us. He didn't notice us. Okay. Alright, moving for the kill.
Smaller than I remember. Time to see.
Alright, easy enough. And for some reason with the Definitive Edition, the game just randomly wants to make recordings of things like that because, hey, it's the Xbox One, let's make it gimmicky all of a sudden. So that's nice of them, I suppose. I'm not sure if it does that on the PS4 version. But that's how you can definitely tell we're playing on the Definitive Edition, because the graphics sure as hell didn't give it away. Well, I kid, the graphics do look good, but I don't think there's any excuse why this does not run at 60 frames per second on consoles if you're going to re-release it on next gen, or current gen as of now. Alright, so we've taken control of the Undyne, Edgar Wakefield is dead, and Lizzie Stride is going to re-assume command.
Lizzie Stride is assuming control of the Dead Eels now. She's ordered them to give you safe passage.
Your friend Edgar Wakefield set me up to be taken by the City Watch, and you followed him. Took his orders. But you know what? I forgive you. All of you. I'm filled with love. But the following people each owe me a finger. Logan, Douglas, Bang Bang, Ferris, Pigface, the Bakers, and Annabelle.
Shit.
2 from you, Annabelle. Have a good night.
Alright, now that she's finished her business with all that, I'm going to be exploring the area really quick before we move on with the next objective, so I can collect all the runes and bone charms in the shorefront area over here. And as the game indicated to us, the Dead Eels are now allied with us. They're now neutral. I'm going to try to avoid these hagfish and go after this bone charm down here. Ow. Yeah, depending on your the rate that you take damage at, meaning your difficulty that you're playing on, the hagfish can be pretty aggravating. So, the Brigmore Witches made an appearance at Summer Games Done Quick this year, where the speedrunner managed to do... come on, get up there. Managed to do the entire main campaign of Dishonored, as well as he met the donation incentive for doing both DLCs. So I highly recommend you guys check that out. Summer Games Done Quick was a wonderful show this year. I know I usually talk about the Games Done Quick events in my videos, because I've really grown to love them over the last couple of years. So, alright, so... up here, there's a tripwire. This is where another rune is. This room is full of weepers. I don't know if it'll be full of... This might be another variable if you have been killing a lot of people, if you're on high chaos right now, if there will be a lot of weepers. I actually do not know what that tripwire triggered because nothing happened. So, we're going to go ahead and just deal with these guys with a grenade really quick and come down here and pick up that rune. That's the best way to deal with weepers, don't you know? Alright, that's about all we can do in here. But yeah, the Dishonored speedrun was quite a show. I was very happy with how the whole event turned out. I didn't actually get to see it live. I had to wait for a rerun of that particular one. But yeah, this section right here, going after this rune, definitely illustrated to me just how obnoxiously bad the swimming controls are in Dishonored. And it's like, when I first played it, and I was like, maybe I'm just bad at the game, maybe I just have to get used to it. But nope, the swimming controls are just bad, especially when you have Wolfenstein The New Order to compare it to, which surprisingly had a lot of swimming in it.
Corvo left his mark on Cold Ridge, but they won't soon forget you either. What a relief. Life has been remarkably grim in Dunwall lately. This business with the eels might call for a little more diplomacy. But in the long view, a smoking ruin makes as good a monument as any.
Alright, we're almost done here. There's that sunken crate over there that we need to... Okay, hagfish, are you seriously just sitting there waiting for me to come back in the water? I think we've had enough of your crap. Where were we? Yeah, there's that sunken crate over there that should have a rune or bone charm in it. If I didn't say so at the beginning when I was purchasing my upgrades, I have a very specific setup that I want to go for the end of this. So I want to make sure I have I'm only spending so much money and so many runes because I have, like I said, I have a very specific set of upgrades I want to get. So I need to be sparing with my money and very particular with how I spend it, and the same thing with the runes. Alright, so that's another bone charm. I'll go ahead and adjust my setup here in a minute. And that should be everything for this area, so we're going to go ahead and talk to... there's one more on the way out. Let's go ahead and talk to Lizzie, and we'll continue from there.